big problem. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh. Now time comes about ant. Now, last question. Oh.
I will start with this.
Vietnamese. You Vietnamese?
She gave you.
Yes.
Your head like Vietnamese.
Vietnamese, Thich Nhat Hanh tradition.
Thich Nhat Hanh.
Oh, Thich Nhat Hanh. Oh. Confused now,
It
confused.
should be
Yes.
like this now.
Usual Vietnamese face is nose like that. Your nose like
I'm from Israel,
Oh.
initially. Israel.
Israel.
Yes.
Jew.
Jew.
Jewish.
I'm Jew.
Good.
Jew and Buddhist.
Okay. Yes.
You already asked me something relating to my question. So, a little background, but short. My name is Daddy. This is my nickname. And my full name is David Goren. And I am a doctor of science.
Doctor of Science.
Yes, a doctor of science in physics and electrical engineering.
Oh.
And I worked 17 years in IBM. You know IBM? Research.
Kasa. Oh, right.
Yes. So, currently, I'm writing a book about a very personal interpretation of the life of the Buddha. That's my book. So, I am a scientist. That's first. I am also
Kasa. Oh, science, yes.
I am a scientist. I am a Buddhist also from Thich Nhat Hanh tradition. I am also Jew. I am Jewish. I am both Buddhist and Jewish. Both. And I practice both Buddhism and Judaism. Both. On Friday, Saturday, Judaism. Rest of the week, Buddhism. There is even a funny name for it. They call it JewBu.
Kasa.
JewBu.
Okay.
Okay. So I practice the inclusiveness of faith. And the
Faith.
inclusiveness of faith.
Oh, good.
And I call it practiced interfaith. That you practice it. Not just talk about it, practice it. So hearing you, I think the word faith may be misleading. So I'm talking about something from the mind, something that in Buddhism it is called insight. Insight. In the Indian tradition, maybe Purusha is the best term. And,
Purusha. JewBu. Yes.
you know, yes. And I think that prayer also has a transformational part. Prayer also was designed to work on the mind. Devotion, compassion, this is also practiced in the Western religions, the three Abrahamic religions also. So,
Now question. I think question.
yeah. It is all related to the question. So what I think, science is great, but science is not enough.
Not Kasa.
Not enough. I think happiness is inner life. So my question, I agree we lack ethics. We don't have enough ethics. I agree. But I feel that ethics come better with faith. So my question to you, do you think that secular ethic is sufficient? Do you think that secular ethic is sufficient?
Okay. Now, firstly, as you mentioned, you also scientist and also kind of the practitioner of spirituality, Judaism and Buddhism. Very good. So I also usually consider myself half Buddhist monk, half scientist. So the reason Buddha himself is he advise us, Buddhist, oh my follower, monks, scholars should not accept my teaching out of faith. Now you mentioned faith. Buddha says should not emphasize importance of faith, but rather emphasis on reason, experiment. So I consider Buddha, Shakyamuni, Buddha, one of ancient Indian scientists. He emphasizes reason, experiment. Therefore, some of his followers, like Nagarjuna, Chandrakirti, at the Buddha Palita, they actually rejected some of Buddha's own teaching. Because if you accept this teaching, it goes against the reason. So we must reject that. That's quite one way, quite unique, and one way that shows Buddha Dharma, particularly Nalanda tradition, you see, emphasis more on reason rather than faith. So even Einstein, you see, describe Buddha Dharma can go with modern science side by side. He mentioned that. Then you mentioned you're a scientist. Mainly what field?
Physics.
What?
Physics and engineering.
Physics and engineering. Physics and engineering.
Do you know something about quantum physics?
Definitely. And this is definitely.
Quantum physics, as far as I know, as a result of meeting with quantum physicists, it's very similar. You see, as far as external thing is concerned, nothing exists objectively. So finally, depend on observer. So long observer there, then things exist there. So long, when observer no longer there, then difficult to say the things there. So that's exactly the Chitta Mantra's philosophy. Exactly same. When observer there, things there. So the Chitta Mantra's philosophy, the yuda yujin zajigris da. Chi susok che da, tenzing lo yuda zajigris.
So in the Chitta Mantra philosophy, the Maimonides school of philosophy in Buddhism, they say that there's this assertion that the object and the perceiver of that object arise from the same substance.
So that Madhyamika philosophy, then you see they argue that view. External things does exist, but if you investigate, nothing can be found. So mere designation. External thing as well as our inner feeling, all designated, not independently exist. That we call shunyata, emptiness. Shunyata does not mean nothingness, but things there, but the existing is entirely due to other factor, not by itself, like that. So, one great Indian nuclear physicist, Raja Ramana, I think some of you, may have heard the name of Raja Ramana. He, one of the scientists, is who built India's nuclear thing. So, she once told me, quantum physics in the West, something new. In this country, 2,000 years ago, already that concept developed. So he mentioned one Nagarjuna's writing, he found the concept of quantum physics. He mentioned like that. So then, of course, I respect all major religious tradition, Judaism, wonderful, and from and Christianity, and then Islam, wonderful. But you see, these very much sort of emphasis faith. We can't prove existence of God.
Okay, I must say something. First, quantum physics and the Buddhist insight go very well together. This is the subject of my next book. And I believe I can also contribute to this area. I believe I can contribute.
Okay, then I want to ask you, you see, a few years ago, you see, one occasion, one of my Indian friend who really was religious-minded, so he seriously, very sincerely asked me, since, you see, God creates whole world, and God is infinite love. So among His creation, there are some mischievous people there. Why God creates that? What your answer?
I think we can debate afterwards, not now. It's a long story, right? We need to debate afterwards, not now.
So then, I have, you see, nothing to answer for that question. Then I just mentioned, since God creates hell, so there must be someone go to hell. Otherwise, no use to creation of hell. Fortunately, no further question. If you further question, then why God creates hell? No answer.
I don't support the insight of that person. So we need to debate. Not now. But one thing. You mentioned Nalanda philosophy. You mentioned Nagarjuna. And you mentioned the Buddhist insight. These go beyond the reasoning, the ordinary reasoning of science. So, when I talk about faith, maybe the word is not exact. I mean deeper than ordinary reasoning.
That's true.
So, all religion try to get deeper. Some don't succeed. But this is what is important to me. Going beyond the senses, going to the mind deeper. Not just in Buddhism. Other religions try to do it. So this is my point.
So what is the secular ethics? Secular ethics.
So now secular ethics, now in reality, secular ethics. The reality, now we have to think well-being of 7 billion human beings. We should not develop concern only believer No. 7 billion human beings. Same human brothers, sisters. So now, out of 7 billion, 1 billion non-believer. So, these people who do not believe any spirituality, then we cannot ask them, you should be a compassionate person because of God, because of next life. It cannot go, it cannot work. So now, as I mentioned earlier, the warm-heartedness is very useful this very life, day-to-day life, and based on scientific finding. That's secular, not talking about religion. So all major religious traditions, all religions are religion of human being. So human value is the essence of all religion. Since we're born, as soon as we're born, we received immense love from our mother, with mother's milk. The child also, no idea who is that person, but emotionally, totally trust that person. If either one, mother and child, angry each other, then child will not survive. So that's the way our life starts. So therefore, now we can tell 7 billion human beings, whether believer or non-believer, loving kindness is a universal value. And we can say a lot of problem which we are facing is human beings' creation. Why? Lack of sense of concern of others' well-being. On that basis, with too much emphasis, we and they, then try to destroy them. That's consider victory of yourself. That's totally wrong. Totally wrong. Now, practical level also, as I mentioned earlier, the early part of 20th century and later part of 20th century, now 21st century, reality much changed like that. So, these reasons we can share with entire sentient the human being these moral, these sort of inner value. That also we can say moral value, not based on religion, but based on our experience and scientific finding. So therefore, I feel secular ethics is only way to change 7 billion human beings' mind, not religion. Those non-believer, we cannot say, oh, Buddha said that, Jesus Christ said that, and the other leaders say that. They say, I don't care. Or scientific way explain, then they pay more attention. And the worst thing is, among the believer, I think now the believer with a different sort of concept, now killing each other. Why? Firstly, they are not following their religious tradition sincerely, seriously. That also due to lack of conviction about this deeper value. So if we make effort through education, through kindergarten, you see the deeper value, scientific basis, then eventually these people becoming more believer, then their belief truly become more effective. So I consider secular ethics is important because it covers entire 7 billion human beings. Different religious faith, wonderful, but limited number. And then due to lack of conviction about secular ethics, the religion also now sometimes is causing more problem, including killing. Okay.